guys, it's Gone, and today we'll be looking at one positional player on each AL team that had a great minor league season, and they should not only gain the attention of their team's front office, but also of the fans and media sources alike. Obviously, this leads to hype, if a player could keep this up if promoted to the major leagues. An obvious example of this was Mike Trout, and even though he was a late first-round pick, he received very little attention except from those within the Angels organization and their fan base. However, once he had a great season or two in the minor leagues, he slowly began to gain the attention of the league as a whole and ended his minor league career being the undisputed top prospect, usurping guys who had a higher draft pedigree like Harper. However, the vice versa is also true. A top prospect can fall out of the rankings entirely with one bad season, and hype can die quickly. While this athlete is a pitcher, Mark Appel was obviously a clear example as a player who ultimately was decided upon quickly that he was not going to live up to that number one overall pick status after posting an abysmal 6.91 ERA in his second season. Overall, what I'm trying to say here is that a minor league season could decide your career for better or for worse. This is the AL version. If you want to see the NL version or one for pitchers, just comment down below. Before we get onto the video, could you guys please hit the subscribe button? Currently, only 6% of people who watch my videos are subscribed, so if y'all do, not only would it help me grow my channel, but I'd also very much appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get on to the video. Adley Rutschman, the current number one overall prospect according to MLB.com, did have a great year, but I want to talk about draftee Colton Cowser, as his numbers are eye-popping, albeit on a small sample size. Although Colton Cowser was undoubtedly a reach at 5 due to his lower signing bonus that he would receive, he may shock some people, as he has had his first professional season already. Immediately after signing, he was placed in the Orioles Rookie League, where it was presumed he would stay as most players do. However, he played great in 7 games, hitting .500 with an on-base percentage of .560 and slugging .773. The Orioles then decided to promote him to Single-A to help with the Shorebirds' playoff push. Colton did not disappoint, with a batting average of .347 and an on-base percentage of .476. Oh yeah, and he walked more than he struck out across 100 at-bats. While his slugging percentage did fall to .429, you can't expect a player who was in college just a few months earlier to immediately begin hitting tanks against pros. This season will ultimately push him on the map due to the small sample size, but it's a good stepping stone to a possible great career. Tristan Costas, the Red Sox second best prospect behind only Marcio Meyer, had a great season even though the numbers show that he basically only had half a professional season. That is because Costas played an integral role in the United States Olympic team that ended up winning a silver medal, falling only to Japan, who played actual veterans. When he returned to the US, he was sent to AA, and the valuable experience he learned from playing abroad definitely helped him against AA pitchers. In 275 at-bats at AA, he posted an OPS of .879 and hit 13 home runs. He showed off his great plate discipline, walking 49 times and striking out only 63 times. In the final days of the minor league season, he was promoted to AAA and had an on-base percentage of .462 across 9 at-bats. Costas projects to be a very well-rounded player as a huge 6'4" first baseman with surprising speed for his size. Defensively, he projects to be an above average due to his sheer size and strength, but if something were to happen that would impact his defensive ability, he would be a great DH. At only 21 years old, he could easily be one of the youngest players in the majors next year. I'm sure every Yankee fan has already heard of this top prospect, but Anthony Volpe saw his stock rise greatly due to his downright dominant season. Drafted in the first round by the Yankees in the 2019 draft, Volpe was projected to be one of the best prep hitters, but fell to the Yankees at the bottom of the first round due to his strong commitment to play at Vanderbilt. Volpe signed anyways, and the Yankees looked like they got a steal. Across a full season with a promotion to High A, Volpe had 29 home runs across 412 at-bats, showing off his great sheer power. While those numbers alone would be eye-popping, he also had an elite on-base percentage in Single-A by walking more than he struck out. Across both levels, he ended up with an on-base plus slugging of 1,027 and stealing 33 bags on top of that. While he's still young and will probably make the majors near the end of the 2023 season, he has all the tools to be a 5-tool player at shortstop, and the Derek Jeter successor takes are valid. The Tampa Bay Rays have a stacked farm system, so honestly, I could have talked about any of their top prospects on here, but the one I think that had the best season is shortstop Xavier Edwards, who played his entire season for the AA Montgomery Biscuits. Edwards was traded to the Rays in what turned out to be a disastrous trade for them, as they ended up trading second baseman Jake Cronenworth to the Padres. Xavier is looking to make that trade seem a little less lopsided, and with everything he's done this year, it looks like he's on that track. Across a full season in Double-A, Edwards hit .302 with an on-base percentage of .377 and slugging .368. While Edwards will never hit for power, and you wish he would walk more, he projects to be a solid leadoff man with some great speed and contact ability. The only question here is, well, where will he play? Because he's mainly a shortstop and is blocked by Wander Franco, who doesn't look like he's going to be moving anytime soon. If the Rays were to make any blockbuster trades this offseason, Edwards may be the main piece in that trade. The vast majority of the Blue Jays' top prospects have already graduated into the major leagues, and the remainder are coming up soon, and the prospect that had the best season may be one of them, despite being only 21, and Gabriel Moreno. Holy cow, did this guy have a great season. Despite it being shortened due to a thumb injury, he hit .441 and slugged .651 across just under 130 at-bats in Double-A. He only struck out 22 times and hit 8 home runs as well. This all led to him having an otherworldly batting average of .373. Keep in mind that this guy's a catcher and played great defensively, which leads to many scouts to believe that he will stick at catcher with his athleticism and above-average arm. With the emergence of Moreno, the Blue Jays have a very good problem on their hands with 3 great young catchers, and they could probably trade one of them. I think Jansen is the one to be traded if they want to, as he's been great defensively, but his bat hasn't been up to par in the major leagues. The Chicago White Sox have a league-worst farm system, so many of their prospects haven't turned heads yet, but Loeki Cespedes, the White Sox number 2 prospect, had a great season across the lower levels of the minors. Across 45 games in High A and 27 games in Double-A, Loeki hit .285 with 8 home runs and slugged .463. Overall, those numbers aren't eye-popping, but show steady improvement from his original signing to now, and if he keeps posting solid numbers like this, he could easily move into the top 100 prospects and be a solid DH or corner outfielder with the White Sox. However, there are 2 issues with Cespedes, and that is his relatively small size at only 5'9", which correlate to a cap on his power and his bat speed, and his above average age at 24, which means that he'll most likely make the majors in his prime in his age 25 or 26 season, meaning that he'll be almost 33 by the time he reaches free agency, which means that he won't make the most money as a free agent. The Cleveland Indians have a bevy of young positional prospects. However, unfortunately, none of them really had good seasons in the minor leagues due to a variety of variables, such as injury or just poor performance. Their best one was versatile infielder Tyler Freeman, who plays an entire season across Triple-A and should be a major league contributor next season. Despite being in a shortened season with only 41 games played, Freeman played well with an OPS of .842 and hitting .323. Freeman doesn't have one standout trait, but projects to be a well-rounded player with decent speed, power, and contact ability. Where his value really comes from is his defensive versatility, as he has the arm strength and range to play second base, shortstop, or even third base at a great level, but fits in best at second base, where he can play at a Gold Glove level. Even though Spencer Torkelson is the better prospect in the Tigers organization, Riley Green had a better professional season this year. Across 84 games in Double-A, Riley Green played at an all-star level, slugging .525 and an on-base percentage of .381. He showed off his great power, hitting 16 home runs across 326 at-bats. At around mid to late August, Riley was promoted to Triple-A, and it seems to not be slowed down at all. While his numbers did dip a little bit, his non-counting stats didn't change very much against better and older competition, and he played across 34 games this time. His slugging even improved 4 points. Even though he's not known for his speed and is instead known for his sheer power and bat speed, he has some surprising athleticism, stealing 15 bags, and that is by no means a clog on the base paths. Green, in my opinion, is the most exciting prospect in the Tigers organization, even ahead of number 1 overall pick Spencer Torkelson. The Kansas City Royals have the biggest no-brainer, with their top prospect, Bobby Witt Jr., having a great minor league season. He has also so far lived up to the hype of that number 2 overall pick status. while his on-base percentage is nothing to write home about at only .368, and you wish he'd walked more. He slugged .597, and that is mostly due to his amazing 33 home runs, which is almost unheard of from a player of his age. He was originally put in Double-A to begin the season, but played so well that he was promoted to Triple-A mid-season as a 21-year-old, playing against competition 3 to 4 years his senior. Like Riley Green, he is an athletic runner and stole 24 bags across the minor league season to boot, and could have had a historic 30-30 season in the minor leagues if he had just been unleashed more on the base paths. Defensively, he is passable if not great at shortstop due to his range and arm strength, and has those quick hands that many scouts look for when they're looking for a gold glover. He ended up proving his advanced approach at the plate this year and should play for the major league team next year. The Minnesota Twins have a great farm system, but the majority of their top prospects are either pitchers or injured, so they don't really have any top prospects that had a great minor league season. Jose Moranda is the best positional player as a utility infielder that had a great season, and he solidified himself as a top 10 prospect in his team. Across 47 games as an everyday player in Double-A, he impressed, slugging .588 and hitting 13 home runs, along with stealing 4 bags, which is capped off with his .345 batting average. He was then promoted to Triple-A, and as an everyday player, he still impressed, hitting 16 home runs and slugging .556 this time. He can play at any corner infield position, along with second base, but will most likely fit in as a first baseman in 2022. At only 23, he might be an underrated piece to the Twins' rebuild. I talked about Cory Lee in my midseason prospects list, and while his numbers certainly dropped since after I made that video, the first part of the season was just so dominating that they carried his overall stat line. His numbers aren't necessarily eye-popping, but they are great, especially taking in the context that he's a catcher in his second professional season. He ended up with a .281 batting average and slugging .448 across High A, Double-A, and Triple-A. The majority of his season came in Double-A, where he played 50 games. He was passable there, hitting .254, but the best part of the season came in High A, where he hit .330 with an on-base percentage of .397. The concerning part here is a dip in on-base percentage from High A to Double-A, as the walk rate, which was already low, dipped even more and the strikeouts increased. Nevertheless, he's still a young catcher, trying to learn the game, so he has time to grow. Rivera was signed for $2 million during the 2019 to 2020 signing class, as one of the 2 Angels prospects to ever receive an international signing bonus north of $1 million. They gave him that kind of money because they believe that he can provide an impact bat at a premium position in shortstop. Across 57 games and 227 at-bats, across the lower levels of the minors in his age 19 season, Rivera has showed the Angels scouts that he was worth that kind of money, and although he hit no home runs this year, his power was mostly gap to gap, and as he gains more strength, he could easily turn those doubles and triples into home runs. What was tangible, however, was his elite bat speed and his contact ability, hitting .304. While the walks aren't really there, it is presumed from a player like his age that he doesn't have the best plate discipline, especially against players much older in High A. A player like him just needs to take those good steps like he did this season to hit the major leagues and thrive. Like the Astros, I talked about this catcher in my mid-season video in Tyler Strodersum, but unlike Cory Lee, his numbers didn't really dip after that video. While he did stay in Single-A the entire time, this was his first professional season, and it's best if he has some consistency to grow with that same coaching staff. He thrived, hitting .306, which led to an on-base percentage of .390, and slugging .568 across 222 at-bats in 57 games. He even stole 2 bases, which is unheard of as a catcher. Defensively, he's still learning in terms of footwork to get the most out of his throws, but he's an athletic catcher that is also rangy and has some plus arm strength. He should stay at catcher. At the plate, he has some quick bat speed, and his quick approach has shown that he has a decent walk rate as well, which is surprising from a player of his age and position, as many young catchers don't walk that much, if at all, so it's a good sign to see if your young catcher walks a decent amount. Like the Royals, the Mariners is a no-brainer, and the second best prospect in baseball in Julio Rodriguez. Across High A and Double-A, Julio looked unstoppable and an outstanding all-around player. He actually played better upon his promotion to Double-A, which is insane and also rare, and has people asking some questions as to what he could do in the major leagues. In a total of 74 games across those two levels, he hit .347 with an on-base percentage of .441 and slugged .560. On top of that, he walked more than he struck out and stole 21 bases while hitting 13 home runs. If you were to find any flaws in his game, a very small one would be his slightly below average power, but he's still growing into his great frame. This 5-tool player should only get better next year and is becoming a star in the making. Lastly, Josh Dung was drafted 8th overall by the Texas Rangers as the best positional player in Texas Tech history, as a great pure hitter with some decent power and great strength. In the 2021 season, Dung did strike out more than you'd like as a prospect too, striking out 72 times in 278 at-bats. That is expected from a power-hitting corner infielder, as sometimes they will sell out to hit home runs. That strikeout rate led to a slightly below on-base percentage of .388, but he makes up for that slugging .579, which is primarily due to his 17 home runs. Besides that power, he also has great bat speed, which shows with his .317 on-base percentage and a decent walk rate. He also got better at sending the ball to all fields this season and not sending all of his power to his pull side. He's an athletic runner and has a strong play at third base and could even play shortstop on occasion, albeit on a poor level. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below new video ideas. I'm thinking about doing more prospect videos, or maybe even some off-season like react videos or off-season prediction videos. So if you guys want to see that, just comment down below. Bye.